foremost, I want to give all honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushua, Bahashem Rakwapadash, Shalom to the apostles and elders of the Great Millstone who I learned this truth from. Salutations to the brothers doing this truth with sincerity. I'm going to get into the scriptures in the book of Habakkuk, chapter 3. Start at verse 3. God came from Teman, and the Holy One from Mount Paran, Salah. His glory covered the heavens, and the earth was full of his praise. Right? Because when he's coming from Teman, he's coming to visit the ones who pierced him. Matter of fact, let's go to it. Revelations 1, verse 7. Says, behold, he coming with clouds, right? Because when he's coming with clouds, he's coming with the chariots, the vehicles of the Most High, Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, right? And every eye shall see him. So there ain't going to be no hiding from this, man. Everybody's going to be seeing this big, massive event. You know what I mean? Says, and they also which pierced him. And that's talking about the nation who is Edom. You know what I mean? They're all going to see this. So we're talking like right here in Babylon, who you call the USA today. Right? It says, and all kindreds of the earth shall wail because of him. Even so, amen. I mean, it's not going to be a kumbaya type of thing, man. Like the Christian church will make it seem like. See? He's coming back with vengeance, and the vengeance is his. Right? Go back to Habakkuk, verse 4. And his brightness was as the light. He had horns coming out of his hand, and there was the hiding of his power. Right? Because he's in the chariot, you know what I'm saying? And those are the beams. Matter of fact, let's get the definition of that. Let's go to Salakia, wrong one. Right, it says here, horns coming out of his hand, right? Or bright beams out of his side, right? We're going to start from the top. Verse 4, and his brightness was as the light. He had horns coming out of his hand, and there was the hiding of his power, right? He's shooting lasers. And automatically, brothers and sisters, I automatically thought about that show, Star Trek, right? Because they read the scriptures, so they stealing, ideas, and they commercializing this and trying to paint that as if it was theirs, man. But if you look at the Star Trek vehicle, right, it kind of resembles what this is describing, right? Let's get it. See, this is it. This is a starship, the Star Trek ship. And see, it's got horns, and out of the horns came the beams, right? That's what it made me remind me, like, it reminded me of this. So, you see, they try to emulate this and steal, the scriptures and make it their own, man. They can't come up with this on their own. Verse 4, before him came the pestilence, and burning coals went forth out of his feet. Right? That's the beam, man. Just burning things up. I'm going to go to Amos 1 and 12. It says, but I will send a fire upon Teman, which shall devour the places of Bozrah. Right? So that's the beam, man. That's gonna burn everything, man. And that's where you see it in the movies too, man. That's where they get their inspiration from, the scriptures. Right? Verse 6. He stood and measured the earth. He beheld and drove asunder the nations, and the everlasting mountains were scattered. The perpetual hills did bow. His ways are everlasting. Right? Go to Ezekiel 25. Shoot, it's a lot here. I'm having technical difficulties with this. All right. Ezekiel 25. So, therefore, thus said the Lord Yahweh Bashan Yahushua, I will also stretch out my hand upon Edom, and I will cut off man, beast from it, and I will make it desolate from Teman, and they of Dedan shall fall by the sword, man. Because these chariots have weapons on them, man, and they're beams. They're going to light everything up. All right, verse 7. And I saw the tents of Cushan in affliction, and the curtains of the land of Midian did tremble. Right? Because all eyes are going to see him. So they obviously know they got next. They got it coming next. You know what I mean? Because they know the scriptures, man. Pertaining to Psalms 83, they know this, they know the truth, and they're trying to hide it from the true children of Israel. You know what I mean? So they're not ignorant of this. But everybody's going to see this. Right? Verse 8. Was the Lord Yahweh Shem Shai displeased against the rivers? This is going to burn everything up with these lasers. You know what I mean? So you're going to ask like, damn, was you mad with the rivers? What did the rivers do? Right? Was thine anger against the rivers? Was thy wrath against the sea? That thou didst ride upon thy horses and thy chariots of salvation? It's going to be a mess out here, man. So, you know, it's like, damn, man, did that tree really deserve that? But everything got to go, man. You know? Verse 9. Thy bow was made quite naked, right? According to the oaths of the tribes, even thy words, Salah, thou didst cleave to the earth with the rivers. Verse 10. The mountains saw thee, and they trembled. The overflowing of the waters passed by, in the deep utterance his voice, and lifted up his hands on high. The sun and moon stood still in their habitation. At the light of thine arrows they went, and at the shining of thy glittering spear. Right? Actually, I want to get Psalms 18 real quick. It says, verse 14, yeah, he sent out his arrows and scattered them, and he shot out lightning and discomfited them. And then the channels of the waters were seen, and the fountains of the world were discovered at thy rebuke, O Yahweh Shem Shai, at the blast of thy breath of thy nostrils. See? So that's the kind of war that's coming, you know what I mean? That, you know, you're not gonna be able to fight with these bombers and all these, you know, F-14s. Like, these things are like ancient caveman technology compared to these chariots, man. Verse 12. Thou didst watch through the land in indignation, but didst thresh the heathen in anger. Right? And that, you know what that reminds you of, right? Isaiah 63 verse 1. As a matter of fact, let me just read. Just get that real quick. It says, who is this that cometh from Edom with dyed garments from Bozrah? This that is glorious in his apparel, traveling in the greatness of his strength. I that speak in righteousness, mighty to save. Verse 2. Wherefore art thou red in thy apparel, and thy garment like him that treadeth in the wine fat? Right? I have trodden the winepress alone, and of the people there was none with me. For I will tread them in my anger, and trample them in my fury, and their bloodshed shall be sprinkled upon my garments, and I will stain all my raiments. It's a lot of, that's a lot of blood. It's a lot of blood, man. And, you know, call Allah Yahweh Shem Shai for that, man, for taking this damn devil out in such a violent way, man. He deserves it. It's the only way that's the only way he knows. Right? Let's go to verse 13. Thou wentest forth for thy salvation of thy people, even for salvation with thine anointed. Thou wouldest the head out of the house of the wicked by discovering the fountain unto the neck, Salah. Right? Thou didst strike through with the staves the heads of his villages. They came out as a whirlwind to scatter me. Their rejoice was as to devour the poor secretly. Thou didst walk to the sea with thine horses through the deep, to the heap of the great waters. And when I heard, my belly trembled, my lips quivered, and the voice rottenness and entered into my bones, and I trembled in myself, that I might rest in the day of trouble. When he cometh up unto the people, he will invade them with his troops, man. And that was a fearful thing to even see a vision like that, man. You know what I mean? Like, he was trembling even just thinking about it. You know, like seeing the vision, man. And, you know, he had to ask, like, why, you know, was you mad with the rivers? And what did the mountains do in the hills? You know, like, it was just a horrific scene, man. And, you know, Lord willing, we have that elect, we get saved out of that, man, because, you know, this devil got to go in violence, man. Well, with that, I would say Shalom. Kahalo Yahweh Shem Yahushai, and peace to the hopeful elect. Shalom.